Okay, injury-wise, no real updates. Came out of the game okay. Um, and then looking forward, should be able to get Kareem and Jack back for practice this week at some point. And then on the game, hard fought. Good to get a win at home. Always things that we can clean up and we can be better as coaches, players, as a team. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at those things and that we can improve. And then knowing we got a big one this week. But first things first, we got to make sure that we look at the tape and find some areas that we can get better. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Coach. The first one will be from Nate Ulrich.
Hey, Kevin, with Kareem and Jack, do you have a certain level of hope or optimism that they would be able to play in Baltimore, or is this just kind of an ease back in week?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a number for you, but yeah, I'm hopeful. I think they're both progressing well.
Okay, and yesterday after the game, Baker did some uncharacteristic things. He went straight to the locker room instead of shaking hands on the field, with teammates and with Lions players. And then he, for the first time, didn't talk to us as a media corps after the game. Did you talk to him about that? And do you have a sense, what he was going through after the game in terms of frustration?
Yeah, I did talk to him. I know you guys are going to get a chance to talk to him, and I think he can probably explain it better than I. But it's something that I know he's frustrated, but ultimately he wants to win. He's a great teammate. He's loyal to his teammates. So I think he can explain it better than I, though.
Do you care that he didn't address the media?
Well, I think all of our guys know what their responsibilities are. And we expect them to follow through with their responsibilities. But again, he's going to talk to you guys today, and I think he can explain that.
Thank you, Nate. Next question to Tom Withers.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin, second half, I think 4 punts, interception, penalty yardage. Looking at the tape, what was the biggest issue offensively?
I think the penalties. We didn't stay on track. We beat ourselves too often, and then the giveaway there. That's just we did some things that are going to prevent you from scoring any second half points, and that's what happened. We got to score points. We have to score more points. Period. I think you know that. But even in that second half, we got to go find a way to score some points. And we didn't do that, and especially operationally with those penalties that they really hurt us.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. We'll go to Matt Fontana next.
Yeah, Kevin, obviously we'll get a chance to talk to Baker later, but just from your standpoint, do you feel like you're beginning the week with Baker in a worse spot than he was going into that game? Just because, it looked like he was hobbling so much out there in that game.
Yeah, I wouldn't characterize it as a worse spot. I think, we've talked about this. He's talked about it. He's battling. He doesn't feel 100%. And I don't know many guys that do feel 100% at this point, but he's definitely battling.
And then when you kind of look at the offense as a whole, Kevin, did you see other guys stepping up when, Baker was kind of out there, it seemed like on one leg at one point?
Yeah, I thought there were really some good moments. I mean, if you watch the game, the guys are making effort plays all over the field, had some big plays down the field that we hit. The run game was hitting, especially in that second half. So good moments, and it's never for lack of effort. I think the guys are flying around.
Thank you, Matt. Fred Greetham, you're up.
Hey, Coach, as much as the trouble in the second half on offense, it had to be satisfying the last 2.5 minutes when everybody knew you were going to run. You were able to get 3 first downs and run out the clock. Can you just address that? Coming together exactly when you needed there.
Yeah, that was in those moments. The guys played. They played great, and just watching it with the guys just now. It's the tight ends at the point of attack. It's the receivers getting involved in the run game. It's obviously the line moving people. Nick is making great runs. Dearness is making great runs. Baker's getting us in and out of good runs. So it really was a collective effort there, especially late in the ball game.
Thank you, Fred. Daryl Ryder, we'll go to you.
Yeah, Kevin, I want to ask you about Baker's bone bruises. It was reported before the game that he's got a bone bruise in his heel and he's got a bone bruise in his knee. And so my question is, have they just basically similar to the shoulder that time a week off or whatever just ain't going to make it better anyway? And so that's why it's okay for him to play. Yeah, I mean, just watching him physically struggle out there at times to move around, it's hard to miss. So people are asking, why is he out there if he's having this much pain?
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about it yesterday, Daryl, and we'll always defer to the medical staff and making sure that a guy is ready to go. Obviously, have discussions with the players in that same vein. We won't put guys out there that can't protect themselves. To say that Baker's not battling, I think you all know that. But he's ready to play and ready to help the team win. But we'll always have those conversations week to week.
And I want to ask you about Denzel Ward. He had that interception yesterday. He's had a couple of games this year where he just really jumps off when you go back and you watch. Just from your perspective, what have you seen from him, and just how valuable has he become on the back end of your defense here?
Yeah, that was a great play that he made on that interception. He's come up big for us in the last few weeks, especially making plays on the ball. So he's got to continue to challenge those receivers, and very simply, don't let your man catch the ball. Take your guy out of it.
Thanks, Daryl. Jake Trotter, you're up.
Kevin, what did you make of the fans seemingly booing Baker on multiple occasions there in the second half yesterday?
I'll be honest, I don't. I hear our fans when they're being loud on third down, but I don't pay attention to that.
We're just talking about Baker battling. Do you think that you guys can score enough points, win enough games here down the stretch with Baker being so clearly limited, at least the way we see it, on the outside by the injuries that he's currently playing through?
Yeah, I think, Jake, to that point, if he's limited, like you said, and can't play up to his potential, those are things that we'll discuss. But, he's played pretty well at times in the last few weeks. So we'll make sure that we have those discussions, and we'll never do anything that's not in the best interest of the team.
Thanks, Jake. Mary Kay Cabot has our next question.
Yeah, Kevin, just wondering, do you feel like you and Baker are really on the same page in terms of the things that you guys are calling for him? He seemed frustrated. You said he's frustrated, but we're not sure about what yet. So last year, when you guys got to the bye week, you were able to sort of throw some things out that didn't work and hone some things that did. Has it been more difficult to try to get that going this year because of the late bye? Do you guys need to work hard to get on the same page more than you maybe are now?
Yeah, Mary Kay, I do think we're on the same page. Obviously, we want to make sure that our offense is scoring more points than it is right now, and I take a lion's share. You can put that responsibility on me. I need to do better. There are plays that we just didn't do a good enough job yesterday in giving the guys an opportunity. But I do think that as a collective group, we're on the same page. Yes.
And if I can ask a quick follow, do you what do you attribute some of the lack of accuracy that we're seeing? I mean, there were just passes where he just seemed off yesterday.
Yeah, I think you're going to miss a few throws in the course of a game. Sometimes it's technique. It can be a combination of things.
Thank you, Mary Kay. We'll go to Scott Petrick.
Hey, Kevin, I got a quick injury one for you first. Jarvis, is the knee something you think he'll be able to continue to play through?
Yes.
Okay. And do you expect Baker to start Sunday in Baltimore?
Yeah, I think with all those type of things, we got to see how the next few days go. If he's ready to go, yes, he'll start.
And then kind of following up on what Mary Kay asked, obviously Baker makes some good throws within the same game and then misses some within the same game. Can you attribute any of that to the injuries, or is it simply he needs to play better?
I would let Baker probably answer that in terms of the injuries contributing to that. But I think we need to play better as a group.
Thanks, Scott. Dan Lobby has our next question.
Hey, Kevin, I wanted to ask you something about the defensive side of the ball. It seems the
Thank
last couple of weeks, it seems the last couple of weeks, teams have kind of neutralized the amount of pressure you've been able to create. Obviously, yesterday only allowed the 10 points, but is there some adjustment you need to make or something you need to do to create more pressure?
Yeah, I think those are definitely things that we've been talking about. I think yesterday's game was pretty unique in how much the run game was going to factor into it, and some of the screens and limiting those opportunities. But definitely, as we talked about going into last week's ball game, we spent a lot of time on third down and some of the things that we need to make sure we're thinking about moving forward, so that we are applying consistent pressure to the quarterback.
And then I know you said off the top you don't have a lot of injury updates, but are you confident that Jeremiah would be able to go this week?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We'll go to Jeff Shadell for our next question.
Hey, Kevin, every week we ask you about the lack of points and you take the blame. But what else? I mean, it can't be that every week. I can't believe that you have regressed as a play caller. So fewer than 20 points in 5 of the last 6 games, penalties. Well, there's got to be something else going wrong. What is that?
Yeah, I think, Jeff, it's something we look at long and hard as an offensive staff. It's never one thing. It's always a combination of things. And yesterday it was penalties. It was a missed field goal, not staying on the field, not converting enough third downs. But it's always a combination of things.
Thank you, Jeff. Back to Nate Ulrich.
Kevin, just with Baker, I know you've been asked a couple of different ways, but when you're talking about the technique, maybe being off at sometimes leading to accuracy issues, have you discussed with him whether these newer lower body injuries are affecting the technique? Like, is he, you know what I mean? Like, if he has a left heel, is he able to plant correctly? Or if he has a bone bruise in his knee, are his feet always right?
Yeah, it is something we've talked about, Nate. And, I would just tell you, everything affects everything else. But I've seen some really good throws. I've seen some really good practice, really good moments in these games. So I'm sure there's some factor there. But ultimately, we just have to play better as a group.
Thanks, Nate. We're going to take 3 more. Tony Grossi, Jake Trotter, Scott Patrick. Tony.
Hey, Kevin, I just want to clarify something. I know the present organization is big on collaboration during the week, major decisions. But when it comes to game day and choosing to remove a player, that's your call, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So at any point, did you think of making that call on Baker, regardless of injury?
Are you saying yesterday, Tony?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Jake Trotter, go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin, Baker arguably was the best play action rollout quarterback in the NFL last year. That was really, at least in the passing game, your bread and butter. When he's hobbling around like that, are you hesitant to call those type of plays where he's going to be on the run? And if so, how limiting is that for your offense, given how successful you guys were at it in 2020?
Yeah, I think it's a game by game type of thing, Jake. I think we called a fair share yesterday. Baker made some plays with his feet yesterday, some scrambles, had some play actions from the pocket that, I thought the guys protected really well. I thought the offensive line, the tight ends did a really nice job in protection really throughout the day. But it's really a game to game type of thing.
Thank you, Jake. Final question goes to Scott Patrick.
Hey, Kevin, was Ronnie Harrison benched for the first series? And if so, is it because he was late Friday?
Yeah, that was a disciplinary reason. And I'll just keep it between Ronnie and myself.
Okay. And then when you look at the run defense, obviously the big run to Swift, but there were a couple other decent sized runs. Is it the same issues that you guys had against Pittsburgh in New England?
Yeah, I would tell you we gave up too many rush yards in that second half, and it's just a matter of fits and tackling. And sometimes it's tackling, sometimes it's tracking to the tackle. We didn't do a great job, and that team runs a physical run game. You know, we saw it the week before where they ripped off some runs, and if you don't tackle well versus players like Swift, they have the chance to go the distance. So we got to clean that up.